gonna put their music on. They have finally updated the ban list. Well, it's gonna be updated May 9th. So what is that? Like in 2 weeks almost? It's gonna be updated. So I kind of want to go over every card. I know I haven't done a video on this channel in so long. Basically because I was waiting for something cool to happen. I like to do when it's like something actually happens. Outside of that, I just play the same deck all and over again. But they limited, so this is limited to 1. It's going to be Cyber Angel, Ben 10, Conquistador of Golden Land, semi-limited, which is limited to 2. It's going to be DD Dynamite, Sekka's Light, Fusion Destiny, the Phantom Knights of Torrent Scales, Tri-Brigade Fractal, Virtual World Roshi, Lao, that's one card, Lyriluck, Cobalt Spyro, Prank Kids Roxy, and Emancipator's Analyzer. And one card's getting lifted from the heavens is going to be the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So they're talking about the replays. They're also talking about dismantling, which I thought this was very weird. Now they actually do this in Shadowverse. Is that when you you dismantle a card that's getting nerfed, quote unquote. Normally you would just get, you know, that bonus versus on each card, but they're actually doing it the super greedy way, which is actually stupid. I'm sorry. I know that they're trying their best. You get an extra 20 points of crafting, which is just, it's funny because normally what you would do, at least how Shadowverse did it, which I liked, is that you can just refund the whole card. So let's say this card, as they are, somebody's limited to 3. Now it's like DD Dynamite. Now it's going to be limited to 2. So you're only going to be able to get that bonus once, even if you don't want to play the deck at all anymore. Because let's say these nerfs are significant to ruin the entire deck or archetype, you only going to get a little bit bonus for refunding it. Kind of sucks. And the 20 bonus pretty much is that even if it's like a basic card, you're going to get the full refund from it. But it should have just been for as many copies of the card. So let's say from Conquistador of the Golden Land, which you can, I'm assuming you can run 3 of those if you really want to, but now you can only run 1, so only twice will you get the bonus. So if you want to keep just 1, you can just keep that 1. I think they should have just kept the bonus. It would have been easier to code that way. So I'm gonna write down each of these cards real quick, and then we're gonna see exactly how bad those decks are gonna be impacted. All right, so let's look at all these fun little cards. Jack, don't look at this deck. You don't need to look at this deck. So Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is limited to 2 at the moment, and it's going to be fully up to 3. So obviously that's going to be great. This card is really busted. It allows you to easily special summon a dragon after just banishing a dragon you control, which is so easy to do. And then you could special summon, a dragon from the hand or the graveyard. Phenomenal card. So they're unleashing it that now you can have 3, which I don't know. That's gonna. This card used to be, I think, limited to 1, and the fact that it's 2 and now going to 3, dragon decks are going to kind of be flying out of the meter. I think that you're going to see more dragon maids. I think you're going to see more of the dragon decks, like Blue Eyes, maybe actual Red Eyes deck. But those decks are already kind of popular, so I'm really hoping that this does open up for people to run more, because this is just a ratio thing. This is all about having more of the card in a deck allows you to see it pop up more often. And I should have biggie sized like this. So Emancipator Analyzer is now going to be restricted to 2. It is a N rarity card, which is kind of crazy. You sometimes you think it's usually going to be the URs and the SRs that get knocked. So this one is looks like it's one of the rock tuners in that deck, and it's probably very pivotal. Let's see what it does. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from the hand. That is that's pretty good, I'll tell you that. And then it does the Emancipator thing where it's like evacuating cards. I think it's just because of that first effect. I'm not too familiar with the Emancipator archetype, but I think that is basic. It doesn't matter if you have a monster on the field. As long as your opponent controls something, you can special summon it. So that's probably why they're reducing it. It's just to make it a little bit harder to get the Emancipator like game plan going. Another N card getting hit, man. So Roxy's is getting hit. This card is sent to the graveyard as material for diffusion. You can banish 1 card from your hand if you do draw a card. Then you can special summon a Prank Kid from the hand. That sounds dumb strong. You can use this effect. So only that second part can be used once per turn, but the first part, I guess the drawing card part is fine. Or maybe the other one is separate. Not exactly too sure. You actually don't see Prank Kids that often, which is kind of weird. I know in TCG, like actual cards, people use Prank Kids a lot, but I don't feel like I see it that often in actual Master Duel. So I'm really curious of where the win rate came from for this card specifically, but it does have a great effect, so I can see why they're, again, lowering the ratio of you using the card. So now we're going with this one, the Lyriluck Cobalt Sparrow. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 level 1 Wing Beast monster from your deck, from the deck to the hand. That's a good effect because they're all level 1s. Again, just messing with the ratios by limiting it to 2. Another N rarity card though, very strange. A lot of, it's like they're nerfing the easy to get stuff. But then again, if you nerf SRs and URs, you would have people complaining about that too. So I can kind of see like how that might have been hard for them to balance that out. Roshi is an R level card again. Now Roshi, one of the cards I actually know, allows you to special summon after you doing the virtual nonsense. It allows you to special summon, usually ending up in a instant like synchro monster. Limiting him to 2 kind of does suck. Though the deck virtual world, I am familiar with it. There's ways that you can specifically get him in the hand if you really want to, but just limiting the ability for you to just raw draw him is a little bit annoying. I'll admit that. But again, it doesn't nerf the deck to make it that you wouldn't play virtual world because of that. If they wanted to do that, they would nerf like Shen. They would limit Shen to 1 or something like that, or some of the other synchro that's in there, or even some of the XZ monsters, or they would like ban out True Calamity in total. But like, they're not doing that. They're kind of like nerfing a good card in the archetype, which, trust me, so far all the ones that I've seen that are limited to 2 that I've covered so far, I don't think that they're gonna do much of anything. Not really, because they're in decks in which other cards get those cards, or if you happen to, you know, not draw them, that it's not like the deck is completely finished without drawing that one card. And that's going to be the same thing for this one. Fractal, same thing. Great card, great for the Tri Brigade archetype, but it's not like if you don't draw 1, I think you can search him very easily, and then 2, I don't think that like not having him or not, you know, if you don't draw him, like the deck doesn't break apart completely. I think he's just a good card for the archetype. Limiting it to 2 just will mess up again the ratios of you actually drawing it. This one I have no idea what it does. Let's see, Torn Scales. This guy, I don't think I've ever seen this. You can discard 1 card, send 1 Phantom Knights deck from the deck to the grave. If another Phantom Knights card in your graveyard is banished while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon it. So it's just a very easy way of getting a level 3 out in the field. I guess that doesn't. I don't even think I've seen this card, but that's not killing the Phantom Knights, and it's not killing any of that nonsense. It's just a more of annoyance. So they didn't seem to hit like the decks as hard as I think people are probably hoping for. I'm very interested to see how other people's videos, as far as like what they did here. They didn't hard nerf anything so far. Like Fusion Destiny, it's a Destiny hero new. I've seen this card a little bit, but it's not like the backup plan in a deck. Like it's not like the main card in the Dark Hero deck. I don't think it is. Like I think I've seen them use other cards. I don't think that that's gonna automatically, like normally when people hear nerfs or banning stuff like that, they think that the deck is dead, right? So it doesn't seem like it is. Like I said, they have ways to search cards like that. They have ways to, the deck runs perfectly fine without it. Now Sekka's Light, which I find very weird. I've only seen this card played once. Like what I mean, like you play it once and it says something about when multiple are played or whatever, and now you can't use any other spell trap. I feel like people are using, they're literally using it for the quick draw too. So like if it's just a free pot of greed. You have to have no spell or traps in the graveyard, but it looks like it's like a quick pot of greed some people use. I don't know if that's literally the only spell in their deck when they use it, but I don't know. I feel like limiting this one to 2 is very strange. It must be in a deck that I haven't seen before, but I'm assuming that's light. Now, of course, we have to go to here, the Dynamite, the contender of annoyance right here. So DD Dynamite, as you can see, is right now to 3. Now it's limited to 2. Again, the reason why this card was so stupid is that you can have 3 of them in the deck, and then you can also run 3 Trap Tricks. I think that nerfing Trap Tick, or not nerfing it, but at least limiting Trap Trick, I think would have hurt, limiting Trap Trick to like probably like 1, because Trap Trick is actually used in other decks as well too, as it pretty much 6 of to make a card 6 copies of it in the deck. So you have a really high odds of killing it. DD Dynamite itself is a decent card for other remove from play decks. I think that's why they only limited to 2, but this is it's the only SR that I've seen that's actually got limited, and I do think that it wasn't nerfed enough. I think this one could have been limited to 1, so that, and then you really had to draw a Trap Trick, so you had to, the combo had to be longer. But they seem to not want to ruin full-on strategies, even if it is annoying to the game. Even though I think they probably should have just nerfed it to the ground. But I also hate when developers nerf stuff to the ground. So it's really hard for me to decide whether or not this was good enough. I think it could have been limited to 1, or I think they should have hit Trap Trick, because again, it's full on. It applies to multiple decks, and it would have nerfed multiple decks. But that could be an issue why they didn't do it. DD Dynamite nerfs one type of deck. Meanwhile, Trap Tricks would nerf several decks at a time. So I guess that's why they did that. Now, the funny one here is that these were the ones that they decided to... I don't even know if I'm spelling this right. Okay, I did spell it right. This is the one they decided to limit to 1. Now, this card was, as you can see, you can run 3 copies. Now, you can only run 1. This is the card that destroys one face-up card in the field. And again, it is searchable. But once you utilize it once, then it goes away. So they decided to not nerf Eldritch itself, even though I've said before, it'd be interesting if they nerf him to 2 or to 1, and then force people to like utilize Eldritch mechanic multiple times in order to keep using him. But then it would be too easy to banish. So they decided to nerf the card that they use alongside of it more often. So I find this to be a funny nerf. Eldritch is perfectly fine without this card. That's why people run it with other archetypes. But I think that this was a light nerf. But I could see how annoying this card was to do that. It's like a little nerf. It makes an Eldritch player probably think twice about it. But I find the billion other traps that Eldritch use, like Skill Drain, like Summon Limit, like Imperial Order, stuff like that is more impactful than this card. And I feel like eventually people will find their own little nick. I've been actually seeing the other zombie deck outperform this one by like miles. The one with the Doom King, whatever the heck his name is. I've seen that one. I feel like that performs better and more consistent than the Eldritch deck does. But the Eldritch is just like, I think maybe it's cheaper. I don't know. Actually, no, I think it's very SRUR heavy, but I think that the new zombie deck or the other zombie deck is way better. And then last but not least, they nerfed this Cyber Angel deck. Is its own deck. It's its own archetype, right? But they pretty much use Ben 10 as a thing for, what is it, Drytrons, right? That's just pretty much in the Drytron deck. And it's mostly for, I think, the second part of it, right? If this card is distributed, you can add 1 light fairy monster from your deck to your hand. Now, I'm amazed that they didn't nerf Eva. I think is Eva limited to 1 already? No, I think Eva should be nerfed. Eva's busted, man. But they didn't want to mess with Eva. They decided to just mess with this one card here. Like I said, if this card destroys a monster by battle, which it never will, you can inflict damage equal to the. Who cares? It's mostly the second part. That's what made it so strong. It's not once per turn, so you can keep doing it over and over and over again, and that's what makes that card. I'm surprised, like I said, they didn't nerf Eva. They didn't nerf like maybe Perfect Isness, whatever the hell, to 1. They did this is very safe, but they do say here, I'll give them some type of credit, that this is starting on May 9th, but keep in mind that it's only in the period of into June. So May into June, so it's about a month long, and then they say that they might start doing it more often. So this might be them testing the waters out, and then they'll maybe do more regular updates. And you have to be careful, and I'll let you guys know they're being very careful because it's very dangerous to in a live game to make a meta and then have to either immediately keep changing it or do it like crazy. So these are very light changes. I don't mind them doing changes like this because it gives you some time to play. It gives content creators some time to test those decks out, see how impactful it is to only have a 2 or a 1 of, or I can't even believe the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is gonna go buck wild. You're gonna see a lot of dragon decks just because people, when they see something positive, like a positive buff, they always try like everything in their mom to like try to make that type of archetype work. And dragon decks really could utilize Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Any dragon based deck can use it. it's really that good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it. Let me know what decks you guys think are going to be becoming super popular based on these changes. Do you guys think that any of the decks that these are hit are going to completely disappear from the meta? Like Eldritch, you think you're never going to run into an Eldritch player because of Conquistador? I don't think so. I think you'll still see Eldritch. You're still going to see some DD Dynamite. Maybe so. Maybe that will do enough. I think you still see it. You're definitely gonna still see Virgil Warrior. You're definitely still gonna see Tri Brigade. You're definitely gonna still see Delirium Luck stuff. You're still gonna see it. So I don't know. I don't think the changes did much, but hey, you guys let me know. Until next time, peace.